You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Financially Fit Podcast. I am your host, Andre Creighton. As always, I'm excited to be here with you all today. And I have to tell you, it's been a little trying times over here as we have our second child, a newborn, and it's been some late nights. So it's been a little bit challenging and feeling less awake nowadays. But nonetheless, I'm here and I'm excited to share some more knowledge with you all this week. So recently, Disney invested $1 billion in OpenAI. And that's exactly what our topic is going to be about today is AI. And really talking through how AI isn't a threat. At the end of the day, complacency is the threat. So thank you for those that continue to show up every single week and listen to our podcast. And for those that are new, welcome. I hope that you find something fruitful out of our conversation today. So let's just jump right in. I think there's been this overarching theme that people are terrified that AI will replace them. And, I've had ebbs and flows of this as well, especially being an accountant CFO, what pieces of my job will AI take over? And I think as I evolved and started to delve into AI a little bit more, I start to realize that AI is not necessarily going to replace me because AI cannot replace the way that I think, my strategy, or any of that. What AI can do is enhance those things. So ultimately, I'm terrified of something completely different than most of the majority of people. And what I'm terrified of is a future where people stop learning because they assume AI will do it for them. I have moved and I utilize AI pretty much every day. I would say for the last probably 2 years, I have used AI probably 6 out of the 7 days out of a week for various tasks. And what I'll say though is AI has not replaced my thinking. I still, when I utilize AI, I bring in my thoughts. I come with an outline. I come with, what the strategy of what I want AI to do for me. And ultimately what AI does, it provides me more efficiency. So let me be clear and upfront about this. AI does not do my thinking. It does not replace my judgment, and it does not perform my work for me. AI is a tool, and I'm simply responsible for the outcomes. And that's how everyone should be thinking about AI, is that it's not going to replace the way that you think, but you are, and you will continue to be responsible for the outcomes of this. So how much you rely on AI is going to directly impact how people view you, right? And how people view the way that you work on a daily basis. So today we're talking about the real threat in this AI moment. It's not the technology, it's complacency. It's people mentally checking out instead of leveling up. So, for many of you, you know that I'm a CFO, and as a CFO, I want to talk just frankly about some of the things that AI does and how I utilize it to help me throughout my journey as a CFO and being able to provide, incredible and client service to the clients that I serve, entrepreneurs that I serve, and business owners. So Let's talk about what AI does help me with. So, as a CFO, AI helps me with speeding up analysis, scenario modeling, pattern recognition, and drafting frameworks faster. Now, what you didn't hear in that was that AI does the analysis for me, that it does the modeling for me, um, that it does all of the metrics that drive that pattern recognition, or that it builds the frameworks for me. I still do all of that work. However, I just do it incredibly fast. I do it much more efficiently than I have ever done it before. And that is the piece that AI and really how I leverage it and how it provides more value in the work that I do every single day. So let's talk about what AI does not do. So it doesn't decide what strategy I use, it doesn't interpret the risk, and it doesn't replace my judgment. At the end of the day, when someone hires me as a CFO to come and do consulting, or maybe I'm working full time as a CFO as I have in other roles, like they're hiring me because of my knowledge, because of the things that I have done over my career that have helped me grow to this role, right? They're not if they wanted to leverage and utilize AI fully, right? They would just do it themselves, which is why it's so important that you're leveraging AI and not relying on AI, but you're using it to be more efficient. And with efficiency, that allows me to help more people. And that is my Northern Star, right? Is how can I use AI to be more efficient, to do things more accurately, and to be able to help more people? So if you're looking at it through that lens every single day, I think that will help you as you continue to think about how do you leverage AI. You know, AI can surface options. At the end of the day, I decide which ones make sense. So you may also know, if you listen to other podcasts, that I'm a founder, that I started a tech company back in 2020 that's going really well. I'm no longer an operator in the business, but still at the founder level. And at times I still will do some founder level work. And I want to talk to you, as this podcast is for founders, entrepreneurs, owners, right? I want to talk to you about how I leverage AI as a founder. So AI supports my brainstorming. It supports all the crazy audacious ideas and visions that I have in my mind that my wife probably rolls her eyes at, because I can't turn my brain off when it comes to building and thinking about how I can create more things that where there's gaps in our society. So AI helps with that brainstorming. It helps me formulate my thoughts, and it helps me put them in a more succinct and organized way than it is in the file cabinets of my brain. Research acceleration. So what it took me, probably months to think about, how do I go to market? How do I market a product? How do I sell to customers? How do I tap into the customer's brain? How do I set pricing? How do I pull together financial analysis that takes all these assumptions that I have about the business and formulates it into a business that can actually scale and grow? AI allows me to structure that and accelerate that research. So then I am spending less time ideating on what things do I need to research, versus AI provides me, hey, here's a starting point for maybe some of your research, and then I go and do the work. I go and do the research. I go and do the strategy, right? That's the acceleration efficiency that I get with AI. AI also allows me to pressure test ideas. So when we talk about pressure testing ideas, like, I ideas are a dime a dozen, right? Execution is the key. There's many people that have a great idea, but not many people can execute that idea. And AI allows me to be able to pressure test all of the ideas that run through my brain. It allows me to figure out what is valuable and what can be validated. And that is the core of, really, as a founder, how I see AI really allowing us to scale a business and grow a business without increasing our FTE. The things that would have cost us thousands of dollars, like hiring a marketing associate to do a marketing strategy or do a campaign, you can do that with AI, or at least you can get a good start to that with AI. You might still need someone to do the actual tedious work of building said campaign, reaching out to said campaign constituents or customers. But at the end of the day, AI can help you formulate those ideas so that when you do hire that contractor, that you're not wasting time spending money for months trying to get on the same page with that contractor. You can go in knowing, here's the things that I want to do, here's the structured outline of the campaign, and now they can go and execute. But what I will say is vision still comes from the human. At the end of the day, the vision still has to come from the human. Will AI get to a point where they can be more visionary? Yes, I do believe that AI will get sophisticated where they can do that. However, I do believe that at the end of the day, the humans are still training AI, and with humans still training AI, there will always be a need for structure. There will always be a need for humans to handle the nuances that come, right? Now, I think AI will be able to handle some nuance as we continue to grow and scale AI, but I don't believe that AI will be able to think through and see around every corner. At the end of the day, the risk still sits with the founder, the entrepreneur, the owner. So, however you utilize AI, the risk still sits with you, and how you leverage that, and how people view your use of AI is going to be the differentiator of how people see founders, how founders get investments, how founders get customers, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't know where you're going, AI won't magically get you there. That's the key here. So if you're listening to this podcast, you know that I'm a content creator. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you know that I have an article newsletter where I talk about the intersection of technology, finance, and policy. Less heavy on the policy side, but there are times where I do talk about policy. As a content creator, AI enhances my structure. AI enhances my clarity. AI enhances my efficiency. So AI allows me to come here today and speak to you all in a more structured way. You may see me glance down every once in a while on this podcast. That's to look at my notes, but oftentimes you don't see me reading directly from a manuscript, right? That lets you know that AI is not driving the way that I talk to you all every single day. However, it is driving the way that I'm structuring my podcast so that I can deliver the most value in the most efficient way, in the least time consuming way, because I know that we're all busy business professionals. But the thinking, the voice, and the conviction at the end of the day are still mine. And that is what continues to drive people to want to come and listen to the podcast, because they know that I'm coming with my own thoughts, my own voice, and my own conviction. So I think the key here is AI doesn't write my ideas, it helps me express them more clearly. And I hope that you can feel that in this podcast whenever you tune in. So there's a couple of core points and distinctions that most people miss. And I think the most dangerous misunderstanding is people think AI replaces intelligence. In reality, it exposes who has it. And when I say it exposes who has it, it exposes your ability to continue to critically think, but also critically think faster, to ask the right questions, right? So let's pretend that you're a founder, and let's pretend that you're in a board meeting with your board that likely consists of maybe some other founders that are within your company, maybe consists of some investors, maybe consists of some advisors that are helping you drive your business forward or grow your business. They don't want you to provide a financial dashboard that is completely AI created. What they want is you to be able to provide that more efficiently and then be able to tell the story better. It sounds a lot different when I walk into a boardroom and they ask, "Hey, talk to me about how you've used AI." And I think these two things sound very different. Yeah, I utilize AI to create this dashboard. Here are the metrics for that AI came up with based on the inputs that I had from my business. That sounds very vague, and it sounds like as a founder, I don't really know what's going on in my business. Now, here, let me take you through a second thought. Yeah, I used AI, and what I found was that our CAC ratio, our CAC is 3 to 1. So for every $3 that we spend in marketing, we make a dollar. Sorry, for every $3 that we make, we spend a dollar in marketing. And this was presumed by me pulling in all of our campaigns into AI that helped me efficiently pull together these KPIs to understand how are we spending our money and how is that driving revenue. That sounds much different than AI just pulled this together and here's the numbers that they came up with. So when I say people think AI replaces intelligence, it doesn't. And like I said, in reality, it exposes who has it and how you are leveraging it. So a clear distinction is AI is a tool. Humans are the decision makers. And to explain that simply, a bad operator with AI is still a bad operator, just faster. A strong operator with AI becomes exponentially more effective. So I'm going to say that one more time. A bad operator with AI is still a bad operator. They're just faster. A strong operator with AI becomes exponentially more effective. So when I talk about being more effective, am I working with my marketing team? Am I working with my sales team? Am I working with my CFO as a CEO? Am I working with my COO? And how am I bringing all those cross-function um, departments together on a core strategy that I've utilized AI to be able to structure that strategy more efficiently to be able to deliver with clarity? That is a leader that is moving exponentially more effectively. So, a key takeaway is AI doesn't lower the bar, it raises it. So, when people tell me that I'm afraid AI is going to take my job and I won't have a job in 5 years, I call BS, to be honest with you. What I believe is AI, the people that are afraid to adopt AI are going to be the people that are behind because they're not moving more effectively and more efficiently. So at the end of the day, AI isn't coming to replace your job. AI is coming to replace your excuses because with AI, you can do pretty much anything and you can do anything more efficiently. If I wanted to say, hey, I want to take download all of my financials from QuickBooks, my balance sheet, my P&L, my cash flow forecast, and put that into AI and say, hey, give me a narrative, financial narrative to send to my board. It's quite lazy, but I could do it. So essentially, there's no excuse for me not to have a financial narrative to be able to give to my board. So when I talk about AI isn't replacing your job, it's replacing your excuses. That's what I mean. Um, so, a couple of core points that I want to talk about in finance and tech, and how they're colliding is finance roles are changing very fast. There's less manual work, there's more interpretation, there's more cross-functional thinking, and what's disappearing is pure execution roles. Because at the end of the day, they can train your AI coworker to do the execution, but what they can't train the AI coworker to do is to interpret that data and to utilize that with clarity across multiple teams. So sorry, excuse me. People who only know how and not why, that's what's disappearing. Because there's a lot of people that know how to do a task, how to execute a task, but they don't know the why around why they're executing the task. So I'll give you an example, and this is not related to AI. I coached high school football for over a decade. And oftentimes, in coaching youth, uh, there's a lot of excuses. Excuses for why you're late to practice, excuses for why you didn't run the play the way that I asked you to run the play. excuses for why we didn't execute the play collectively as a unit the way that we should have executed the play. And what I found is that in coaching those kids, that it was about not understanding the why I'm moving this way. Why do I tell you not to false step when you're running off the line as a receiver, right? Why am I telling you to run your route at 5 yards versus 10 yards based on this defense? They don't understand that this is where the hole in the defense is. That's why I want you to run it at 5, because if you run it at 10, there's going to be a defender sitting right there to make a play on the ball, right? The same holds true in the business world, where there's a lot of people, specifically, I'll talk about my profession in accounting. There's a lot of people that can go in and code transactions to a chart of accounts, that can reconcile the balance sheet and all of the accounts, but they don't understand the why. They don't understand that I'm reconciling all of these because I need to be able to understand all the metrics. What is my current ratio? What is my quick ratio? What is the health of my business? Am I solvent? What is my liquidity, right? Where is the opportunity to reinvest some of the money that I'm making from a profit standpoint to put back into the business, or to invest so that I can grow money that's sitting there that I won't utilize this year, right? That's the piece that a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand the why around that. So if you're specifically speaking to those that are accountants, but this holds true across all business lines, if you don't understand the why you're doing something, you better ask soon, because that is where AI will replace you. If you're just an executioner, like, they will replace your ability to execute, but they can't replace your way of thinking, your way of interpreting, your understanding of the why. So let's talk a little bit about what's emerging. Tech literate finance leaders are emerging. We are long past the tech leaders that the tech finance leaders that just are able to look at a balance sheet and provide the balance sheet to said executives and then leave them for interpretation. They're looking for leaders that are tech savvy and able to efficiently use tech to be able to drive effectiveness and clarity. They're looking for professionals who can translate data into decisions. At the end of the day, every single data point is just a mechanism for us to make better decisions. I once heard that that people make thousands of decisions every single day. And that's crazy to think about, that you make thousands of decisions every single day. If I can come and say that 99% of my decisions I make them with clarity, that is a win. And that is what AI can help you do. Make more decisions with more clarity. So, the new career formula, the old formula was experience plus credentials plus time, right? And if you had the experience, if you had the credentials, if you had the time put in, you were going to accelerate your career. And I think that has bold true for a lot of people. And quite frankly, that's bold true for me as a current CFO. I have the experience. I've been doing this for over a decade. I have the credentials. I have my MBA. I've humbly have received a few different awards specific to my profession. And I've put the time in. I've worked countless hours over the years to be where I am today. That was the old formula. The new formula is tech fluency, judgment, and adaptability. Do you understand tech? Can you move things forward more efficiently? Do you have good judgment? Meaning, someone once told me that um, this always stuck with me. So there was a leader at a firm that I used to work for. She was the managing partner, or she was the COO, and then her friend was the managing partner. And she talked about how I don't have to go to Beth uh, to get approval on many decisions, because Beth trusts me, because she knows that 9 out of 10 times that I'm going to make the decision that she would have made. That's what we talk about when we talk about judgment. Do people believe that you have sound judgment? And then, do you have adaptability? With AI is moving so fast and so rapidly that we have to be adaptable. Are you that person that says, hey, I'm not going to utilize AI at all? Or are you that person that says, hey, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to try it? I'm going to figure out how AI can take some tasks off my plate so I can be more efficient and more effective. So, you know, I want to leave you with a couple of statements. The future won't reward the most talented. The future will reward the most adaptable. There's a lot of talented people out here. And going back to some of my football analogies, when I talked to a lot of my high school kids that had aspirations to go and play college football, you know, I had this alarming awakening when I went to go play college football. Humbly, like I was one of the better players on my high school football team, which is why I was afforded the opportunity to go and play college football, right? But as you continue to grow into different arenas, the talent pool be, tends to become more condensed, and there tends to become more saturation of a lot of talented people. The same thing is true as you continue to move up in your career in the professional world. So the key is, and what I would always challenge my athletes is, how are you going to differentiate yourself? Because there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of athletes out here that are fighting for the same scholarship that you want, that are really good, right? What are the ways that you're going to differentiate yourself? Is that because I get good grades? Is that because I show up to class on time? I'm punctual? Is that because I'm a leader? I'm trustworthy. People love to play with me? Is it because coaches see me as someone that is coachable? Like, what are the characteristics that are going to differentiate yourself in a world where there are a lot of talented people? And ultimately, that's adaptability and being able to adapt it to any situation at any given time. And AI is a sliver, a piece. It's not a silver bullet, but it is a piece of that mosaic that can help you become more adaptable. So, a couple of reflection questions, and I know we are a little long-winded on this topic today because I felt that it deserves it deserved the time. It deserved. AI is moving so quickly, and people are utilizing it more and more every single day, and I hope that you will too. So, I want to ask you a couple of direct questions. Are you using AI to avoid thinking, or are you using it to sharpen it? So I'll say that one more time. Are you using AI to avoid thinking, or are you using it to sharpen your thinking? Are you learning how these tools work or hoping they don't affect you? So are you being avoidant? If your role changed tomorrow, would you be ready? And if it does change tomorrow, how would you utilize AI to help you become more ready? So my challenge is, don't outsource your growth. Don't confuse efficiency with mastery because they're two very different things. And I'll leave you this to close. AI isn't a threat, complacency is. So, my final thought with you today is technology has always rewarded those who are willing to adapt. We saw it with internet boom and how that has evolved over time. AI is no different. This moment is no different. It's just faster. And it's going to continue to move faster because technology is moving at the speed of light and it's not going to stop for anyone. So, my call to action for you is, if this episode made you uncomfortable, that's probably a good thing. Share it with someone who needs to hear it and keep building skills that no tool can replace. That is the key. So, thank you so much for tuning in today. I am your host, Andre Creighton. As I always say, it's not about how much money you make. The power is in how much money you keep. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Financial Fit Podcast. Take care.
You've been putting it off and time is running out. You've got just a few weeks left to apply for the Minnesota Promise Act grants. The state has more than 60 million with an M, dollars to help small businesses in greater Minnesota and parts of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Now, hurry up and go to mnpromiseact.org to fill out the application. And listen, if you need help getting it completed, don't trip. They've got trained pros who can guide you through it. Make an appointment to get started today.
I drew you this year.
Oh, I love scratch games. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome, Tabitha.
They're so sparkly.
Festive, right?
You know it's a good gift when it's hard to let it go.
Kinda wish I drew myself.
Kinda glad you didn't.
Holiday scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery are great to give and even better to get.
So thoughtful.
I know.
Hey, it's your girl Shaletta. Are you over there running low on your insulin supply and worried how you're going to pay for it? Minnesota's Insulin Safety Net programs got you covered. If you have less than a 7-day supply of insulin, you can get a 30-day refill for just $35 at any Minnesota pharmacy. Go to mninsulin.org today, print out the application, complete the form, and just take it in to your pharmacy. Go to mninsulin.org.